Okay, hello all you crazy people out there, my name is Stupid, and welcome back to Angels with Scaly Wings. Lorem! Hey, Stupid, so what exactly are you doing? Are we going? You mentioned something about treasure hunting, but you don't tell me we're actually trying to unearth some ancient human artifacts. Are we going to the portal? Or the lab? Or both? Don't worry, this is gonna be fun. Just hope for the best. I'm not sure who came up with it, but someone gave me this kit as a present for a few months ago. He showed me the map. It was a piece of paper that had obviously been treated to look much older than it really was. Yeah. Treasure hunts. I'm not sure if I can be of much assistance, though. I don't exactly know much about the area. But you're big and strong. Or at least you are bigger and stronger than I am. You can do the digging. Great. You don't sound very enthusiastic there, Stupid. Besides, I've wanted to do this for a while now, and Ipsum is always busy, so I figured this would be as good as time as any. Do we need to bring a shovel, or do you expect me to dig with my bare hands? Well, the instructions say we only need this map and a pen. I've got a pen, I guess. Sure. I hope I have a pen. Where are we supposed to go? If this is the facility, then the place indicated is the school. Or rather, somewhere between the school and the administrative building. Let's go then. So I was trying to backtrack through Remy's thing in the last chapter, and I am actually slightly confused about why he thought I was making fun of him, since that was specifically what I was trying to avoid this time through. Maybe there was something in the very beginning that I thought was supposed to be a joke, and he thought it was not supposed to be a joke or something like that. I'll go back and check the video, I guess. I do want to have a good ending, a good resolution for Remy. Before I finish playing this game. So, I guess, oops. I could focus on that and run through or something. Here we are. The X on the map is right between those two large buildings, so it must be around here somewhere. Back to school, huh? Not quite. Everyone's on summer break right now. Which is a good thing, because we wouldn't want you to get swarmed by all the children. They would go crazy if they saw you. How does school work here, anyway? Are you talking about this one, or schools in general? Also, why is there just a line of sinks, of taps, on the wall over there? In general, I'd like to know more about how your school system works as a whole. I see you won't let a learning opportunity go by. I'm just doing my job. You should start looking for that treasure then. Sure. Oh, you know what? Was it the thing with the cake? With Remy, a couple of videos ago? Where I asked him if he needed help instead of just doing it? Maybe that's what he's mad about. Find out, Alright, I'll mess around with that in another run. Well, I looked for hints as to the treasure's whereabouts. Lorem started talking. Right. We have quite the education system. Different schools and districts run on their own, so when looking at details, things can vary a lot. However, there are a few things that are true no matter which region you live in. Compulsory education lasts for about 10 years. There are a lot of options for schools and school systems. And someone just launched a mod. Which launched an actual game in Steam. Okay. Choice is an important factor here. We recognize that there isn't one system that works best for everyone, so there are many options depending on which path you want to take. That doesn't sound too different from what it used to be like in my world, but nowadays things are a bit more chaotic. Practical skills are valued most in our city, and you aren't really given a choice to do anything else. Sure, people can learn other things on their own, but it's not as if school is mandatory anymore. People just do whatever they feel like. Did you grow up like that too? No, I still got to experience our old education system, college included. What was your favorite subject? Physical education. I feel like our art classes when I was in school would have been better if I didn't have a number of not very good art teachers. And physical education wouldn't have been bad in theory if like everything about the way it was actually operated was different, so I'm gonna go with math. I like math anyway. My favorite was art class. Alright, trying out different mediums is always so much fun, and yet you majored in computer science. I started sculpting again recently. What for? Art doesn't need a justification. But anyway, it helps me visualize what the characters in my game should look like. Can't you do that with a computer? Sure, but working with a physical medium makes things much easier for me. Instead of working with an interface, there's only my hands and a lump of clay. No technological gadgets required. I see. Did you find anything yet? I sure haven't. No, I feel like we must be missing something. Maybe, but the map clearly marked this place. You can see it for yourself. Yeah, the X definitely points to this alley. Then it must be here somewhere. Water trough. I want to poke around in the water trough and I don't know why. Let's do it, I guess. Maybe it has something to do with the water trough and faucets. Maybe. Alright, we walked over and looked inside the water trough. Inside, the dirt was already a few inches high, a clear indicator that it hadn't been cleaned out in a while. I guess the janitor's on some summer break too. Or maybe they left it here on purpose because our treasure is inside. It's all dried up though. Way too hard to start digging. Maybe that's what the faucets are for. You say so. We turned on the faucets and watched as the trough slowly filled with water. Is it like actually filled with dirt, like on purpose, or is it just a layer of dust? Because that shouldn't fill up over, like, immensely over the course of a summer. That should be enough. And now, start digging. Come on, what kind of treasure hunters would we be if we didn't get our hands dirty? I immersed my hands in the sludge. This is still pretty hard. Let's turn the water on again. Alright, round 2. Both of us dug around in the sludge, which slowly became clearer as more water filled the trough. What's this treasure map for, anyway? Hey, I think I've got something. I think it's stuck to the bottom. Lorem's face was straining as he tried to pull harder and harder on the object he thought he had found. Maybe I should try. Alright, suddenly his hands reappeared from beneath the murky water, holding a small, shiny object in their grasp. There it is. He opened his hands to reveal a big screw. So, you found the drain. Maybe you should put that back. Just maybe. By now the water had become clear enough that we could see where the screw originally was. After Lorem replaced it, we noticed that, besides the water, the trough was completely empty. I guess it's not here after all. I tried. But at least the janitor will be grateful for the cleaning. Alright. Walls. You know what? I'm gonna check the windows. I don't know why, but I'm gonna check the windows. You think so? It's as good a guess as any. I suppose. You can fly, right? Sure. Okay, you check out the windows on the left. You should get a better view inside if you fly up to them. Alright, so he's gonna go off and do his thing. As Lorem flew up to the windowsill with a few flaps of his wings, I turned to the right to look inside the windows of the administrative building. The curtains were closed, but through a small gap I could barely see inside. I got closer and closer, hoping to get a better view when my forehead bumped into the glass with a dull thud. I heard some movement behind the curtains. Suddenly, they were drawn open to reveal a black dragoness who looked down on me with disapproval. Congratulations, you just found the principal's office. In an instant, her expression changed to one of shock and surprise. Before anything else could happen, I quickly stepped away from the window and outside her view. Just empty classrooms on my side. Did you find anything? Nothing. Alright, so walls then. Are we gonna get in trouble for bothering the principal or whatever? Maybe it has something to do with the walls. The walls feel like the most boring option, unless there's like a treasure map embedded in like the cracks in the paint or something like that. I don't know. Why would I think that such a thing is... Alright, what makes you think so? We're clearly missing something here, so maybe there's some sort of hint we've been overlooking. Something that wouldn't be obvious to anyone else who came through here. I have no idea what you're talking about. These walls don't really look special to me. My gaze slowly went along the walls, trying to find something, anything, that could have a hidden meaning. Hey, look at that! What do you mean? That kind of looks like an X on the wall, don't you think? I guess. Maybe it's here somewhere. Look, there. Lorem crouched down and stuck his hand in an indentation that ran along the wall near the ground. Aha! What is it? He pulled out a cylindrical, shiny object and gave it to me. Oh, by the way, speaking of shiny objects, I still have your, icosahedron sphere thing, don't I? Whatever you called it. I have that, don't I? I think I do. It looks like some sort of capsule. Maybe there's something inside. That's going to be a pretty small treasure. He screwed it open and held the two halves of the cylindrical object in his hands. To our surprise, it didn't have an empty space on the inside. Nothing could be hidden within. Instead, inside the two halves were engraved. What does it say? 2J. That's it? Okay, well, I don't know offhand what that's going to mean, but... I'm going to write that down also. It's also on the other half. It might be coordinates. I'm wondering if, like, you're looking at it upside down or something, and if it says something if you were to flip it around, but 2 and J do not have... do not form other symbols that I would recognize if you rotate them 180 degrees. It might be coordinates, though. The grid on the map had numbers and letters like that. That means 2J would be here. Right in the middle of a forest. Okay, so that's probably not something I'm going to have to remember. Let's go. Alright, there's treasure everywhere. That was the title of a Calvin and Hobbes anthology, wasn't it? I think it was. Finding our spot might be a bit more difficult from here on out. Why is that? We don't really have buildings and addresses to reference anymore. Here we only have a spot in the middle of a forest. Don't worry, I have an excellent sense of navigation. Let's hope we find it before it gets dark, though. Things might become a lot more complicated. I'd rather not get lost in here. You won't have to worry about anything. If there are any predators in the area, they'll see me as a better target than you. Don't tell me there are predators in the woods. Not really, there might be a stray or two, but that might be it. The woods are considered to be very safe. Famous last words. Even if that's true, and if worst comes to worst, you can just fly away. I guess that's true. You sound kind of like you don't like the woods, though. They're creepy. I don't know what you're talking about. The picture in the background looks pretty cool. Then you don't have anything to worry about here. I already told you there shouldn't be any predators around in these parts. And it's not like these woods are haunted or anything. Haunted? That reminds me of something. What is it? Maybe you'd be interested in this. In our world, there's a forest that was notorious for the many suicides that took place in there. It was said to be haunted by angry spirits. Okay? That sounds horrible. But why are there so many suicides in there, and why are the spirits so angry? Well, in Japanese folklore, people have a soul or a spirit that is called a raikon. Raikon. Languages. Upon a person's death, the raikon separates from the body and goes to a form of purgatory. After certain rites have been performed, the raikon goes on to join its ancestors and becomes the protector of the living family. However, under certain circumstances, like the rites not being performed correctly or dying in a sudden and violent manner, the raikon transforms into a Yurai instead. Yurai? Yurai? The Yurai sounds better. The Yurai can return to the physical world and haunts it until it has been laid to rest. So there you go. Another myth for your collection. Well, I know where not to go for my next vacation now. Yeah, I wouldn't want to visit it either. This happened after this game came out, but the whole, I don't even want to name the YouTube channel because I don't want to drive traffic to it, but, let's just say that if you paid much attention to the internet in the first quarter of 2019, you probably know what I'm thinking about. What do you think about stuff like that? Paranormal stuff? You know, until a few weeks ago, humans were still just a myth. And if we look at the portal, it's like something came out of science fiction. Ipsum certainly seemed interested in it. He actually read up on some new theories about it. Like? You remember him telling you about the different branches and how the barrier separates them, right? Yeah. So since the barrier is made up of wormholes and using the portal displaces them, it leaves gaps in the barrier. I distinctly remember him talking about something like that. It's like putting a perforation in the torus, I guess. Through these gaps, he thinks we can communicate with our alternate selves in other timelines. How does that work? Is that going to be a game mechanic? I've said that about a couple other things, and have been informed in the comments that they're not. Like that Phoenix Wright investigation thing or whatever. Well, I guess it wasn't really Phoenix Wright, it was just answering questions more than, trying to present evidence. But is this going to be a game mechanic? Like, I can interact with the other save files, or the past New Game Pluses or whatever. It all goes into the nature of existence itself. Who are you as a person? Do you think that you are just the stupid from this branch? What about the other ones from the other timelines who have made other decisions? Like the one who actually gave Remy a hard time. Would you consider yourself to be the same person as them? The only difference between you and the stupid from another branch may be that you decided to skip breakfast this morning. Maybe you're all of them. How is that possible? Like a seed from which many roots can sprout, or a tree and its branches, there may be a uniting factor that branched off in these different timelines, your fundamental nature. You might call it a soul or something similar, but the idea is that even though there are many different versions of you, there is an aspect that unites all of you. As part of a part of myself that stands over me, kind of like a superego. An interesting comparison. If we use a similar model here, then we can say that you are also made up of 3 distinct parts. In each timeline, you have a physical body, which is driven by its own base desires that it seeks to fulfill. All physical needs like hunger, thirst, and even breathing fall into this category. However, as a being with free will, you are also capable of making your own decisions. That includes being able to act contrary to what your body is telling you. This ability to think and make decisions on your own is your rational mind, the self. And lastly, there's the third part I just talked about, the one that stands above all of the one that stands above all of you and unites you in the same way. Let's call this your higher self. Through this higher self, you may be able to communicate with your alternate selves in some way. So my superego is the mail server. Great. Usually the barrier would prevent this, but through the gaps, communication becomes a possibility. The more gaps there are, the easier this should be. And how would I go about doing that? I suppose that would just be the job of the higher self. So I can't control it. There are all these are just all theories. We wouldn't really know until it happened. Only then could we study it. If it was to happen, how would I know? If someone else's experience gets relayed through the connection to you, it could manifest itself in a number of ways. Maybe it could be something like deja vu or a false memory. Maybe even dreams. But the biggest difficulty would be to recognize that this phenomenon is happening in the first place. It's certainly quite out there, you have to admit. Sure, but quantum mechanics are already complicated enough. Once you look at what lies beyond, it's just crazy territory. What do you think about all this then? I think it might already be happening. Really? Just think about it. If the possibility of it ever happening is there, then it's more than likely that it already has. I'm not sure I follow. Let's just assume that this is an average timeline. The portals have been found by both of our people, contact has been made, and now you and Reza are both here for a visit. A few letters were exchanged before you and Reza were sent here, so that means the portal has already been used a few times. Using a portal once might only have an infinitely small effect on the barrier, like poking a hole in a castle wall with a needle. However, if you multiply this by a nearly infinite number of possible timelines in which these same events have already happened, the effects might already be noticeable. Yeah, see, I don't like multiplying infinity by 0 because then math starts getting actually hard. Alright, I don't like it that much. I don't like math that much. Of course, some people may be more susceptible to this than others. Do you think you've already experienced it? I don't know. I've been having some weird dreams lately. Me too. That's a point that's been made in pretty much the beginning of every single like chapter day in the story. Is the awaking from unsettling dreams or whatever the text says. Okay. This looks like a very different background. This looks like it was put together in a 3D modeling tool instead of painted. Okay. We were just entering the clearing, and from my view, I could see some odd lines that had been drawn on the ground. Hey, I think this is the spot. Why do you think so? Well, the giant X on the ground kind of gives it away. Lorem took flight with a few flaps of his wings. After looking at the scenery from above, he returned to me. You're right, it does look like a giant X. Guess it's time to get our hands dirty again. That may not be necessary this time. What are you talking about? He went to the center where the lines crossed and picked up an object that was lodged halfway into the ground. He returned to me once more, holding another capsule similar to the one we had found near the school. If we have to go back to town after walking all this way... And it's open. Apparently we're going to 6K now. Where is that? There is an abandoned store on the other side of the forest. That's where we're going. That just means the way back is going to be even longer. Well, stupid, all I'll say is that I hope you're in good shape. Is that, like, submerged in water? Are we sure we should even be here? This is the place indicated by the map. I was talking about the building being roped off. Maybe that's just part of the game. Is the flooding part of the game, too? This is very elaborate, I'll say that much. Hey, you can give up if you want to. I certainly won't. Now, are you going to help me or not? I guess. I just didn't expect that I'd have to get wet for this. Take off your socks, it'll be fine. All part of being a treasure hunter. Let's just look for the X. Okay? Lorem flew up to the light fixtures to get a view from above while I checked out the shelves. I remember when we could still shop here. What happened? Apparently, the area has had a problem with flooding. Apparently, you say. So much work and resources are needed to erect a building like this one, and in the end, it just gets abandoned. We have plenty of empty buildings where I come from. Oh, really? Not sure if this is a good reminder of home, though. At least you don't have a problem with flooding. I nearly got sent back, by the way. Really? Why? Political reasons. Oh, I don't think I'm supposed to talk about it. You just did. Is it related to the announcement that they made about Reza? Maybe. Guess things are getting pretty serious. Have you found anything yet? Not really. Maybe it's underwater. You think so? It's certainly not anywhere near the ceiling. I already checked there. And I found nothing near the walls or the shelves. It could be hidden beneath the floor tile or something like that. I suppose. Alright, so now we're checking every single floor tile, are we? Without hesitation, Lorem vanished beneath the water's surface. I breathed in deeply, crouched down, and began looking under the water as well. Alright, this is deeper than I thought. Maybe we've gone into the basement or something. I looked around, but nothing seems out of the ordinary to me. Just as I was about to resurface to get some air, I heard a splash accompanied by a loud thud. What was that? Lorem? Everything was quiet as I looked around for my companion. Suddenly, I heard frantic knocks coming from a shelf that was lying on the ground, half submerged in the water. I realized that it was still standing when we came in earlier. As I waded over to it, it became clear that the knocks were coming from beneath. Lorem. Quickly, I mustered all my strength and grabbed the shelf, lifting it up. Splash. Lifting it up until it fell over onto the other side with a loud splash. Lorem resurfaced, gasping for breath. What just happened? I was looking underwater, and suddenly the shelf came down on top of me. So, like a booby trap? I think so. My leg hurts a bit, but that's about it. But I totally saw something. Let me show you. Without waiting for a reply, Lorem dove into the water again, resurfacing just a few seconds later, holding an ominous metal box that had a large X on it. This should be it. Let's hope it's waterproof, though. Where did you get this map again, by the way? Because I know I asked that, and I know I don't remember. From the looks of it, it is. We should go outside, though. It'll be hard to read anything in here. Okay. Well... Lorem held up the box to me. I took one of the sheets of paper that was inside and started reading. I think these are pizza vouchers. Lorem was holding another sheet, which he started reading aloud. Congratulations, you have solved Pantoli Pizza's annual treasure hunt. Might not have been the safest treasure hunt that's ever been run, but okay. Remember the code word enclosed for an instant rebate on your next order and for a chance for the grand prize. Considering the amount of work that went into that, that's a little underwhelming. A year's supply of pizza. Oh. What is it? It's expired. Treasure hunt, the contest. Apparently it all ended months ago. Can we still get the pizza? Well, I don't think the offer is still valid. I mean, we can still get pizza regardless. The whole thing has made me really hungry. I suppose this concludes our treasure hunt. What do we do now? Maybe we could see this experience as another reminder that the journey is its own reward. Or that the early bird gets the worm. You really want some pizza, don't you? That makes me wonder, though, why don't they get rid of all the hints in this box when the contest expired? They must have realized that people may still have these kits at home, even when the contest is over. If people went out looking for a hint in the woods and it wasn't there anymore, they might look for hours until they decided it was nothing to find. There was nothing to find. And, you know, free advertising. Or they just didn't care. You know, I'm starting to lose hope in Pantoli's Pizza. Sending us here is really negligent. Who knows what would have happened to you if I wasn't here. Maybe the whole building could crash down on the next unlucky person who would end up here. Maybe that's why it was roped off in the first place. But you thought it was part of the game. Maybe they should have put a sign or something. While I was talking, Lorem walked towards one of the wooden poles that was used to rope off the building. He picked up a large rectangular object from the ground that was hidden in the grass. It was a wooden sign. Do not proceed past this point. The treasure hunt has concluded, and there is nothing more to find. Danger ahead. We could find the treasure, but not this huge sign. What does that say about us? I'm not sure exactly. We should probably head back before it gets too dark, though. We still have to go through the woods again. Okay. Do we? I wasn't given a say in the matter. Okay, that's ominous. That's a chapter. That's loss. Just probably Remy. Okay, I'm at the 24-minute mark. I'm gonna end it off here. In the next part, I'm not gonna record today because my voice is starting to go. But in the next part, there's either gonna be story, character development stuff, or both, and I don't know which. My name is Stupid. This has been exciting. My name is Stupid. This has been Angels with Scaly Wings. I hope you all enjoyed that, and I will see you all later.